Good evening, y'all, and welcome to Apron Strings. I've been working all day or all evening on a birthday supper for my grandson, Richard. So now it's time for the dessert. And I did a video on this dessert right after I started my YouTube channel, but it's been a long time ago. And it was one of my favorite desserts that my grandma Camel, my mother's mother, used to make. And one time I was there and I had her to write it down for me, and I've been making it ever since. It's an old-fashioned recipe because they just used what they had. And they usually had lard, which I used Crisco, and flour and sugar, and some milk, and butter that they churned themselves. So I'm going to make Grandma's old-fashioned butter roll. That was Richard's request for his dessert. So I'm going to get y'all over to the food processor where I'm mixing it up, and then I'll roll it out and show you how we finish it. In my bowl, I have 4 cups, let me see here, no. I have 3 cups of flour and a half a cup of Crisco, which is one of these sticks. If you buy it in the sticks, a half a cup of Crisco, a cup of sugar, and a tablespoon of baking powders. And I whizzed that all up until it was crumbly, kind of like cornmeal, just real crumbly. So now we need to stream in enough milk to make a dough, and that takes about a cup of milk. So I'm going to go to the icebox and get me some milk out, and I'll be right back and we'll work on it some more. Okay, it didn't take quite a cup. You want it to ball up, and usually it'll hop up on top of the blade in there. But now I'm going to get this over to a floured surface, and I'll roll it out, and I'll show you what we do next. Okay, I've got my dough out of the food processor, and I'm going to try to shape it kind of in a rectangle, because what we're going to do is we're going to roll it out, and it's going to look kind of like cinnamon rolls. Well, sometimes that happens. And see, there's no set amount because the humidity in the air affects, let me put a little more flour on there, affects the moisture, but it's I used a little less than a cup of sugar to, a cup of milk making this. Now what you want to do when you get it rolled out, we're going to put softened butter all over the surface here. So let me get my butter and see if it's soft enough that I can spread it. If it's not, the June oven's hot. If it's not soft enough, then I'll have to put it in the microwave. But I've had it out at room temperature for a while. Yeah, I think I can smear it on. One time when April was in college, she was in a speech class, and they had to do a speech, but it had to be like a lesson. Well, she was going to make a butter roll. I said, well, baby, you better try to make one at home before you take everything to school and make one. She said, oh, I can do it. I've watched you. Well, let me just tell you. She got to college and got to speech class, and it was time for her to make her butter roll. And she didn't have the liquid right where the milk, that approximately a cup of milk, and it just turned into dough, like cake dough. And she couldn't get it to where she could roll it out or anything, but we had made one at home, or I had, and she had it with her for them to sample it, but hers didn't turn out good, and we've laughed at her about knowing how to do it without ever doing it. that was really a good lesson for her if it didn't turn out good for the class. But they love the butter roll. Can you guess why it's called a butter roll? And it is really good. I'm going to have to work on that crust right there a little bit. Okay, let me get this out of the way and wipe my hands off on some paper towel. Going to sprinkle sugar and cinnamon over it. Now you can mix your cinnamon and sugar together if you want to. Uh-oh. But I'm just going to do it like this. And then we're going to roll it up. I'm going to put some on that little piece. We're going to roll it up like a cinnamon roll, okay? And we're going to cut it just like you do when you're making cinnamon rolls. And I'm trying to make it stick together good. Get my pan. I know I brought one in. I'm going to use it. You know what? Let me get my pan out over here. Have mercy. I'm going to spray my pan just in case with some Pam, and I'm using a 9x13. You want to get you a sharp little knife, and you just want to start cutting it just like you would cinnamon rolls and placing them around in there. Now, no, there's no yeast in it, but what happens, that baking powders that we put in it makes it rise. And we're going to make a, for want of a better word, a sauce that goes over it that really makes it yummy. You want to put a little bit of space between them because they do rise up. It's funny how I loved this, and April, it's her favorite. If she's going to request something, it's a butter roll. She likes chocolate cobbler too. And then her kids like the butter roll, so that tickles me pink. Okay, let me make a little room around here. I'm going to take this piece and poke it in there because it has all that cinnamon on it. Okay, now we have to make a sauce to pour over. And we use 4 cups of evaporated milk, a half a cup of sugar, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to heat that, and then I pour it over the rolls, and we bake it. So let me get the ingredients together to make the warmed milk. And I need a half cup of sugar. And I'm guesstimating here. little bit of vanilla to go in there. And because I forgot to put salt in my dough, I'm going to add just a little bit of salt to this sauce here. Just a dash. And let me get that mixed together. And get it on the stove to warm, and then when it gets warm and we're ready to pour it over, I'll bring y'all back. This is what makes it yummy. You don't need ice cream on it. You don't need anything. You just need some more of this sauce that's going, because the flour and the stuff in the dough thickens it. And it's almost like a thin custard, a rich, thin custard on top of the rolls. Okay, my milk is almost to a simmer because I had to go outside for a minute. That's okay. And you just take it and pour it over and let it go all in amongst, and it's okay if they're completely under the milk. That doesn't matter. They're going to swell up, kind of brown on the top. In fact, they kind of float. I'm going to get the camera where I can show you. Can you see that they're just barely, some of their heads are sticking out, but most of them are in the liquid. I'm going to get it in the oven and I'm going to cook it for 30, 40 minutes. I'm not sure how much. I'll have to look at my recipe, and I'll bring y'all back when it's done and let you see what it looks like. You see how they rise to the top? That there's plenty of juice down in there. So they've got to bake about 8 or 10 more minutes and they'll be done. Y'all see how it looks like cinnamon rolls and how they and see right here this sauce, they're floating in that sauce. So when you put one on your plate, you put some sauce over it. But my bunch is not here yet, and I don't want to start digging them out and mess up how it looks till little Richard gets here, because this is his birthday cake. So I'll try to get y'all a picture of it plated, but if not, just trust me, it is delicious. Y'all, let me tell you something. You got a refresher course on one of my favorite childhood memories. I loved when Grandma Camel would make her butter roll. I hadn't heard of too many people making them. I guess maybe some of y'all's grandmas did, because they just used what they had. And they sure could stir up some good stuff with what they had too. No, it ain't too healthy, but yeah, it's delicious. Hope y'all will try the recipe and let me know what you think about it. And if you have any tried and true family recipes that have a lot of memories attached, I wish you would share with me. My email is always listed down below, and you could email it to me, and I would enjoy sharing it with the people on our channel. So think about that. And also, y'all, I really need my channel to grow. And if you will, please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. My daughter's calling. Please share my channel on your Facebook and your social media, and tell your friends and family, and help it to grow, because if it'll grow, I can supplement our income a little bit with what I make on YouTube. And that's exciting to me. Right now, I'm not even paying for my groceries, but it's still fun, and I'm making lots of new friends, and I'm meeting new people. But it would help me a whole lot if it would grow and make some money where I could enjoy having some spending money. So if you'll share it, I would appreciate it. And when you watch a video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have time, let the ads play. That figures into the income. Same goes for anybody that you're watching. Try to watch their ads, or half of them or something if you can. The good Lord bless and keep y'all. I have got a few more things to get done before my family gets here for this dinner. So I'm going to get busy, and I'll see y'all again in a day or two.